Hello developers, today we are diving into something truly exciting. Imagine a navigation bar that responds dynamically when you hover over an item, adjusting its size and revealing tooltips with smooth transitions. It feels intuitive, sleek, and interactive. But here's the real challenge. How do we make sibling elements react in a staggered motion when we hover over an item? How can we make animations feel natural instead of abrupt? By the end of this video, you'll not only understand how this works, but also learn a powerful technique to control animations with precision using JavaScript. Let's break it down step by step. At the core of this navigation, we have a section that wraps everything. Inside it, there's a container that holds the navigation bar. This container ensures that the navigation stays centered. Inside the navigation bar, we have an unordered list. This list contains multiple list items, each representing a navigation element. Each item has two main components: a link that wraps an image representing an app icon, a tooltip that appears when the user hovers over the item. Each tooltip is placed inside the list item but outside the link. This ensures that when we hover over the item, the tooltip remains attached to it without interfering with the interaction. Now that we have a clear understanding of the structure, let's move on to styling. First, we reset the default spacing by setting padding and margin to 0 for all elements. We apply a full height layout to the page and set the text color to white to contrast with the background. The background is an image that stretches across the entire screen. It is centered and set to cover the area, ensuring a seamless full-page effect. Now, let's talk about positioning. The navigation container is fixed at the bottom center of the screen. This ensures it stays in place while the user scrolls. Inside it, the navigation list is displayed as a flexible row, aligning all items to the center. Each navigation item has a default width. But here's where things get interesting. When hovered, the item expands. The adjacent items get slightly bigger. The further siblings get a smaller expansion. These smooth transitions create a cascading effect, making the interaction feel natural. The tooltip starts off invisible with an opacity of 0, and is positioned slightly above the item. When hovered, it moves further up and fades in with a smooth transition. So, we've set up the structure and the styling. Now comes the real magic, the logic behind these animations. To control interactions, we first select all navigation items. We define a helper function that toggles classes on sibling elements. This function takes 4 parameters: the list of items, the current index, the offset, which determines which sibling we are targeting, the class name we want to add or remove. If the sibling exists, the function adds or removes the class accordingly. Now comes the key part, hover effects. When the user hovers over an item, the item gets a class that increases its size. The previous and next items get another class to slightly expand them. The next to next and previous to previous items get a minor expansion. And when the hover ends, all classes are removed, bringing everything back to normal. Here's the real trick. We don't animate every item manually. Instead, we use JavaScript to dynamically assign classes to the correct elements. This keeps our code clean and scalable. Final thoughts. This technique is powerful because it allows us to create smooth and natural animations without complex calculations. Now, here's a question for you. How would you modify this to work in a vertical layout? Think about it and drop your ideas in the comments. Subscribe to the channel for more CSS tips. See you in the next video.